Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. We're going to go through all of the indices, a lot of indicators, and I believe there's some cracks starting to happen in the market. And I'm going to show you gold, 10-year rate, that's TNX, and also a trade setup here coming up in the end. So make sure you stick around, play this video at 1.25 speed or 1.5 speed, get all the information that you can out of this video. And I know that you have other things going on. So sorry, this one's just a little bit later, but we're doing this intraday at about 3:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube member. It's 99 cents a month. Comes with the Discord trade alerts. So I had a obligation today. My sister was taken away from us, and I was doing an interview to try to get her story out there. So that's why I had this late video so far. And so let's go ahead and jump into it. We have a lot of great information, so make sure you stick around, hit that notification bell, do all the things, subscribe, like, boom, boom, boom. We have, we're going to start off with SPX. We're going to go through SPY as well, and then we'll do it on 65, and then we'll go on from there. So here's SPX on the daily time frame. I had this huge rally here after the crash. Remember, we're talking about this. Now, I do these videos every day, so it's kind of like a storyline. Now, we've been talking about this being a leading diagonal, and if you want to get that video, become an individual member for $4.99. You can see the full analysis and all the description, learn what a leading diagonal is. So we're in this resistance area right now. We rejected off of it, and again today tagged it. Again, we're showing some cracks here. Are we going to form an inverse head and shoulder, or are we going to continue this move lower? There are going to be a few situations that could occur, and I'm going to try to describe those to you. So if you recognize that situation, you know what to do. That's what trading's all about. And so let's go on and go on these indicators first. Here's our moving averages. So today we had a reaction off of that 50, the 50 moving average, and the 8 EMA. At 8 EMA is our momentum. So on the daily time frame, we cannot say that we're bearish, okay? I know we're up against a ceiling, and that's why we're trading off of it. But our 8 says that momentum's still up. Our 20, which just so happens to be going up with this potential trend line, is curling up, and that's our trend indicator. Momentum's up. Trend is up on the daily time frame. Now that is not the case on the weekly, so that's why the market is going to be a little bit more choppy at this point. McClellan oscillator, one of my favorite indicators, along with the money flow index. We'll show you that on SPY. We had this overbought situation. We had negative divergence that's starting to play out. Sometimes price holds on top of this overbought condition, okay, right at the 100 mark. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. I think it could continue lower and actually oscillate all the way to the lower end, but we'll have to watch that. We're starting to get weaker breadth. That's what this is saying as of yesterday, as yesterday's close. So we're starting to get a little bit weaker in the breadth, and those big tech stocks are what's going to start holding us up if the market is to hold up. Here's our MACD, RSI, and slow stoke. We're starting to get the histograms to lower, so that means we're converging here. That's part of the MACD, moving average, convergence, divergence. We're starting to converge, okay, so that the momentum's running out. Overbought, starting to weaken. Slow stoke had our very early sell signal, but our actual sell is the 80 mark. We're not there yet. D-Mark, we've been following this. We have that 9 count sell signal, reversed off of it, and now let's see if we can get some follow through. Awesome oscillator, still positive. Let's go to SPY. All right, we're going to start off with that money flow index. This is a volume indicator and strength. So this is very similar to the RSI with the addition of volume. You see, we didn't even get to the overbought territory. Can we still? Yes, we have to reverse and go higher. And that would leave some room to the upside. Maybe we make it back to this 584. Possible. But right now it's negative divergence and it's starting to weaken. So starting to show some cracks in the market. Bollinger Band didn't quite tag it, but that's good enough for government work. Here we reversed off of there. Again, overbought circumstances. Tagged right underneath the Bollinger Band. Okay, those are good. And then let's show some different boards here. So looking at a traditional sense, we're looking at this as a wedge. Now, you saw in SPX, we actually had more of an ascending triangle. If that triangle is to play out, I mean, we probably see 580, 590, somewhere in that zone. We're not there. I do believe momentum's running out. We'll have to see if FOMC happening tomorrow, what kind of price action we get going forward afterwards. So far, we're in this wedge. And what I think is going to occur is that we're going to test the lows. Do we make a new low? That's possible. Do we continue to go lower? That is a situation too. Okay. But with what cycles are saying, yes, we can absolutely head lower. But what might happen is we correct here, we test the lows, and we make just a little bit higher correction. Okay. Now, if we go directly to the 786, which is just a little bit higher, take a look at this. Then I think that the actual B wave will be over. So if we go directly after FOMC to the 585, then I think it's less likely that we make a sideways move. Okay, not impossible, but taking down probabilities. So at this point, as of today, we peaked above the 618, the golden ratio. And so that leaves open the door. In the comparison, when I did the video, Kiss of Death, that comparison, I did comparisons with 1970s, with 2000, 1929, all those comparisons. So I'll post that video up top at about 8 minutes. I say that for my own reference. I know that you guys don't need to know that. And so with us being at the 62% retracement, that leaves the door open still that we can have that this is just a lesser degree A. We test the lows for a B, and that can mean up here, that can mean lower. A B wave, and then a C wave to tag that 786. Okay, so we can't leave the sideways pattern out, especially if we're in a wave 4 on other indices or other products, such as Tesla. Okay, we think we're in a wave 4. That's what we went through today. All right, so if the wave 4 is happening and we're in a B wave, that wave 5 for Tesla could go in. That could help us bring down Tesla lows in the market. And then Tesla has its relief rally or a larger correction, and then we could correct back to the upside. Okay, so that is the scenario that could play out. Now, if we want to go directly lower and just continue lower, then that's wide open too, because we've already had an ABC. We're in the golden ratio. This could be an AB or a 1-2 setup. All right. It doesn't matter about the A or the B at this point. I think we're more, I'm going to change it just for my own well-being here. I know that a lot of traders aren't used to doing Elliott wave. And so if we're starting a bear market, I want to make it clear that this can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for an impulse wave to finish off that bear market and or to get started in the bear market, I should say. And we'll see where it goes from there, okay? Now, let's go to timing. So we talked about the highs being in on Friday. We had that cluster going from April 30th to May, I want to say 5th. Yes, because that was yesterday. Okay, we were in that time and price relationship cluster. We have our high in. Do we get follow through? Yes, we have 2 red days here. Now, I do believe the top is in, but anything can happen. Okay, we have another cluster coming here around May 12th. And I believe that's a Monday. So do we go down into this cluster, maybe make a higher low and continue the move higher? That's possible. We'll see when price gets there what happens. But we knew that we could trade off of this one and look for a high because of our price action and the other clues that we're giving us. So I can take these clusters out. I'll do it on my own time. And let's see. Is there anything else on this one? There is a bullish. I'm going to constantly say there's a bullish scenario. And there is on Tesla as well. That this is an ABC for wave 4 and we go up for wave 5. I'm not going to take that out. I just want to let you know that this is an expanding ending diagonal. That is possible. And so if we start repairing and getting above these major resistances, where did these resistances come from? From the 2021 correction, the full length of the 2021 into 2022 lows. We have our 100% here, which is a former high. That's where we bounced off from. And then you had your major targets, the 127. We made it there, made it above and held it as support. And then what I thought was the final target was the 162. It's a very important extension. And so we got there, rejected hard all the way back to the 127, held, got above and lost momentum, but made it all the way to the 200%. Now that happened in gold as well. Okay. Now we crashed all the way back to the beginning. Okay. Now is that just the beginning of a new leg, or is this a lower high and we're right back in that 162% extension? That's a very important area. There's also other Fibonacci's here. So that's why this cluster is so important. I do think we reverse off of here. Let's go around the horn. Here's the cues. Reversing so far. I'm going to go quickly through these and then I'll go to SPY. Same thing, rejecting here. Now this one looks like SPY when it first held on to its possible ascending triangle. You have your highs here and we broke out and now we're back testing. So potentially if we lose this, that's a fake break. But it's bullish until proven otherwise here. Holding on to the 8 EMA and the 50, just like SPY. Back to Qs, I didn't have the moving averages. Rejected off the 200 moving average, holding the 8 EMA, so that's why we're getting a reaction off of there, which is very natural. That's typical. You usually don't blow through those indicators right off the bat. Usually you get a bounce and then you fail. 8 EMA, but we're up into very important resistance there. Held on to this resistance zone for over a year, and then it played a role in this volume node, a lot of volume trading around it, and then held as support, a big move down, held as support, and then broke down with the crash there. Okay, we no longer think this is really a wave 4 because it extended past the 382. And so I do think this is possible, again, that this could be a larger degree, that the move is done. This could be a larger correction that takes more time off the clock. We'll see. We don't know that for a fact. Still that wedge formation, same thing, rejecting off the 50 and squeezing between the 8. Okay, so while we're on the daily, let's check out first gold. Gold having a sharp move today, but clearly it had a flag, a bullish falling wedge pattern, broke out from it, and now is continuing a momentum to the upside, pushing off the 8 EMA today. and the trend is still up, okay? So all it did really at this point was hold on to the 20. Now, I'm not going to go into the full analysis of why the top could have been in, but at this point, there's such a deep retracement. It looks really strong here. Now, that's one of our ideas that the market may be weakening because gold, the fear trade, and gold's going to continue to rise in that case. Okay, TNX. Once again, we're going to continue to monitor this. And you had this flag type falling channel, broke out, back tested. We were worried about this breaking down. If this would have broke down with a fake break, then we're looking at going into a recession right away. Meaning, I don't mean like, within days. I mean, happening now that we're in a recession. So we're going to keep an eye on the weakness here. We have FOMC. Does that spark it to the upside or to the downside? In my opinion, the downside is going to be the worst factor, that we're already in the recession. So let's keep an eye on it. And again, here's your trade setup for MJ. So I want to show this one. MJ's showing some strength here. We had this falling, first of all, this very big, mega bullish falling wedge. I think we're going to break out of that. I think this is going to highs. I think this is the best trade of 2025. I have a video for that. Now, we had this falling channel in the near term on the daily time frame, broke out of that. I believe this is the first impulse wave up. The trend is curling up. We're above. We're underneath the 8 so far. Still have some room to break down, but really it's just a back test so far. So I think the trade is good at this point. You can use an in-out spread if you want to have a safety trade. An in-out spread will allow you plenty of time to make new highs and go ahead and capitalize on that without worrying. Set it and forget it. Again, I'll put those videos out. Now, let's go to SPY. And you don't have to use the spreads. You can use an outright, naked calls and such. Just give yourself plenty of time on those. 65. Let's look at the traditional look here. Here's your 65 minute. Here is another crack in the market. We had this wedge that was forming. I believe this move is done, and we broke down from the wedge and something else is happening. So if there's a continuation, if you're counting this very similar to Tesla, then we have a 1, 2, 3 is done, and we're going to get some sort of 4 and a 5 for one more move to the upside. Okay, that's what happens if you match Tesla in particular. So these scenarios, we constantly are updating. I think the most likely scenario is that we're in a flat pattern and this 5-wave move here can be complete. Now, is that 5-wave done for an A, B, C? Or is it the more bullish scenario where you're getting... I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the first count that I had for the high to be in for Tesla, if the high is in. But if Tesla has one more move to the upside to make it to the 302 zone, then we have to upgrade this to a 1. And this larger flat pattern was a 2. And this completed 5-wave move in the middle here was just wave 3. You get wave 4 somewhere in here, and you get a 5. Okay? And that would give us the first wave 1. Okay, so we're getting near the end of this trade. If it's not already done, we are getting very close. We'll see what FOMC has to bring. And then if you're a bull, you're looking for wave 2 and much, much higher. Again, I'm looking for this move to be done for an ABC And I know that you can, even if it goes up higher, you could still count 5 waves in here for an ABC. It's all speculative, and we're going to have negative divergence, okay? I'll show you that screen. When it comes to, first of all, there's your moving averages. We're starting to get below momentums to the downside. So we had negative divergence, and we're starting to get back to the 0 line, which is a neutral point. We were oversold for a minute there, but not deeply oversold. So if we have higher to go, what all it's going to do is bring us to a higher price, but a lower level on the MACD and RSI. So we're going to set another negative divergence that's going to set us up for a bigger move to the downside. So it's just a matter of, do we get one more high or not? DMARC. So we had our sell signal on the daily time frame and also on the 65. So first of all, back here, you had a 9 count exhaustion. Boom. You had a 9. Yes, you did have the buy signal here with a new low, but it was still valid. You had a 9, 9, 13 and caused our sell-off here. So let's monitor. We're at a 6 count right now. See if something else can give us a turn. Negative divergence on the awesome oscillator, and we're now at a neutral point. Money flow index had negative divergence. We're not oversold, but we're in a position to where we're getting close. Let's see what happens with price action. No setup here. Bollinger Band, we're at the bottom, holding tight here. Bollinger Band's going to start getting tighter with oversold conditions. So technically that's a buy signal. Let's see if we get that new high. We're getting close. We're seeing some cracks. We're getting close to a sell-off. We can look at the Elliott oscillator, negative divergence. Do we get one more high and create one more divergence? Possible. It could be done already. Now, there is the expanded flat. That's just if we make a new low and then it looks the same. And then you get a 5-wave move up. Still on the cards. Still on the table. Here's the 65. We got our high here. Do we get a low going into some of this cluster here? It's not a beautiful thing because they're so spread out. This is an ideal cluster right here. So we'll still just monitor, see what's happening here. I'll have to clean that up on my own time. Okay, we're not going to go through the other indices here. Let's go ahead and go through. Oh, we missed the VIX. Hello. So the VIX on a 65 first. Are we breaking out? It is possible that we're already breaking out. Okay. This wedge seems clear, right? But then the wedge could expand as well. So don't be definite. I think this is an early buy signal as well. We'll see if we get some follow through on here. But the gap, it's bullish if this gap doesn't close. I thought we might have seen the gap close. We'll see what happens. FOMC is going to say it all. And let's go to the daily. And then we'll get out of here. So here's our falling wedge again. That's showing a buy signal here. We're breaking out, but kind of holding still. And that's because the 8 EMA momentum still down. We held support. If we break down 23, let's call it 23 right here, we might have a good low. That was our ideal low for a cycle. If we hold that low, or if we break down from that low, we have the 100 and the gap close. If we hold the low, then we should start to see momentum getting above the 8 and the 50. But we have a huge catalyst tomorrow, so that can all happen in one swoop as well. So we'll be careful trading. Make sure you have your protection on. If you're long, then have put protection. If you're short, make sure you have your call protection and let those ride. Don't take them off early. All right. That's it, you guys. Here's your daily video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for all the support. We will talk to you in the next video.